They said my software was worthless. Now their company can't run without it. The rain drummed against the window pane as Maya sat hunched over her desk, staring at the rejection email that had just landed in her inbox. The words "not a fit for our needs" blurred before her eyes, but she didn't need to read them again. They were already etched into her memory like acid burning through metal. Her fingers trembled slightly as she reached for her coffee mug, now cold and bitter, much like her current prospects. Maya's journey into software development hadn't followed the traditional path. Growing up in a small apartment above her parents' struggling bookstore, she'd learned to code by sneaking into the local university's computer lab late at night. While other kids played video games, she was reverse engineering them, teaching herself how programs worked from the inside out. This unconventional education gave her a unique perspective, one that would later prove both her greatest strength and most significant obstacle. Her breakthrough idea came during those long nights helping her parents manage their inventory. Watching her mother painstakingly track sales, orders, and customer preferences using nothing but spreadsheets and notebooks, Maya saw patterns where others saw chaos. She envisioned a system that could predict buying trends, automate restocking processes, and personalize recommendations, all while running silently in the background like an invisible assistant. But when she pitched this revolutionary software solution to the very first company that would hear her out, their response was devastating. "Too complicated," they said. "Not user-friendly enough." The worst part? They weren't entirely wrong. Her prototype was clunky, filled with technical jargon only another coder could love. Yet something inside Maya refused to let go of the vision. She knew she was onto something extraordinary, even if no one else could see it yet. Determined to prove her detractors wrong, Maya threw herself into refining her creation. Days turned into weeks, then months, as she worked tirelessly in her tiny studio apartment. The rent was late more times than she cared to admit, and her social life became practically non-existent. Friends stopped inviting her to gatherings, assuming she'd decline anyway. Her parents worried openly about her obsession, though they never questioned her passion. Through countless iterations and sleepless nights, Maya transformed her unwieldy prototype into something truly remarkable. She named it Harmonia, reflecting its ability to bring order to chaos. The interface became intuitive, almost magical in its simplicity. Behind the scenes, however, lay layers of complex algorithms capable of processing vast amounts of data and generating insights that seemed almost prescient. Armed with her improved software, Maya approached another company, this time, a mid-sized retail chain called Sterling & Company. Their CEO, Richard Sterling, agreed to meet with her, though his assistant made it clear he was doing so only as a courtesy. Maya still remembers walking into that sleek office building, feeling painfully underdressed in her second-hand blazer next to executives in $1,000 suits. The meeting started poorly. Richard barely glanced at her presentation, instead scrolling through emails on his phone. His team openly mocked some of Harmonia's features, calling them cute and amateurish. Just when Maya thought she might cry right there in the conference room, something unexpected happened. One of the junior analysts, Sarah, asked to see a specific function again, the predictive analytics module Maya had poured months of work into perfecting. As Sarah explored the feature, a transformation came over the room. Other team members leaned in, asking questions. Even Richard put down his phone, watching with growing interest. For 20 minutes, Maya demonstrated how Harmonia could identify emerging market trends, optimize inventory levels, and suggest targeted marketing campaigns, all in real time. The energy in the room shifted from dismissive to electric. Despite this breakthrough, the Sterling team ultimately passed on Harmonia, citing budget constraints. But Sarah, the analyst who'd shown genuine interest, stayed behind after the meeting. In hushed tones, she confessed that their current systems were failing spectacularly, costing the company millions in lost opportunities. She begged Maya not to give up, promising to keep pushing for a trial run. That conversation marked a turning point. Though Sterling & Company initially rejected her, word of Maya's innovative software began spreading through industry circles. Other companies started reaching out, though many remained skeptical. Each rejection stung less than the last, replaced by a growing certainty that she was building something transformative. During this period, Maya faced personal challenges that tested her resolve. Her father fell ill, requiring expensive treatments their insurance wouldn't fully cover. The bookstore, already struggling, teetered on the brink of closure. There were nights when Maya seriously considered abandoning her dream to take a stable programming job, anything to help her family stay afloat. But every time she opened Harmonia's code, she felt a spark of hope, the same spark that had driven her to teach herself coding all those years ago. In these dark moments, an unexpected ally emerged, Marcus Chen, a former professor whose computer lab she used to sneak into. Now retired, Marcus had heard about Maya's struggles through academic grapevines. He offered not just mentorship but also connections to potential investors. Though many of these meetings ended in disappointment, Marcus helped Maya refine her pitch and understand the business side of software development. One particularly brutal investor meeting stands out in Maya's memory. A venture capitalist named Evelyn Price tore apart every aspect of Harmonia's business model, reducing Maya to tears in the parking lot afterward. Yet even as she cried, leaning against her beat-up car, Maya realized Evelyn had given her valuable insights, harsh truths wrapped in cutting criticism. That night, she rewrote her entire marketing strategy, incorporating Evelyn's observations while maintaining faith in Harmonia's core value. Through these trials, Maya discovered something profound about herself. She wasn't just fighting for recognition or financial success, she was driven by a deep belief in technology's power to solve real-world problems. Every late night spent debugging, every rejection letter received, only strengthened her conviction that Harmonia could change how businesses operated, making them more efficient, responsive, and human-centered. As spring arrived, bringing warmer days and longer evenings, Maya noticed subtle changes in how people responded to her demonstrations. The skepticism was still there, but now it mingled with genuine curiosity. Several companies expressed interest in pilot programs, though none committed fully. These partial victories kept her going, fueling her determination to perfect Harmonia's capabilities. One feature in particular consumed her attention, an adaptive learning algorithm that could customize itself to each user's workflow. This innovation required solving complex mathematical problems that had stumped even established tech giants. Many told her it was impossible, that she was wasting her time chasing perfection. But Maya saw it differently, not as an insurmountable challenge but as an opportunity to redefine what software could achieve. The breakthrough came during a thunderstorm that knocked out power across the city. Forced to work offline, Maya found herself approaching the problem from an entirely new angle. Hours later, as electricity returned and her computer rebooted, she stared at a solution that seemed almost too elegant to be true. When implemented, this algorithm would allow Harmonia to learn and adapt faster than any existing system on the market. Word of this advancement spread quickly through professional networks. Suddenly, Maya found herself fielding calls from major corporations, including some that had previously dismissed her work. The irony wasn't lost on her. These same companies now eager to license Harmonia had once called it too ambitious or impractical. She scheduled meetings with several interested parties, careful not to let excitement cloud her judgment. Among these potential partners stood Sterling and Company, now facing mounting operational challenges. Their inventory management system had collapsed under increased demand, leading to stockouts and angry customers. Richard Sterling himself requested a follow-up meeting, this time with his entire executive team present. As Maya prepared for this crucial presentation, she couldn't help but feel a mix of anxiety and vindication. Walking into Sterling's headquarters again brought back memories of her initial rejection. This time, however, the atmosphere was different. Executives greeted her warmly, several mentioning how they'd heard about Harmonia's recent successes. During the demonstration, Richard watched intently, occasionally interrupting with technical questions that showed genuine understanding of her software's capabilities. Yet Maya remained cautious. She'd learned the hard way not to count on deals until contracts were signed. Instead, she focused on showcasing how Harmonia could address Sterling's specific pain points, demonstrating features she developed specifically with their business model in mind. The meeting stretched well beyond its scheduled hour, with team members taking turns exploring different aspects of the software. As discussions moved toward implementation details, Maya encountered a new challenge, convincing Sterling's IT department to integrate Harmonia with their existing infrastructure. Longtime employees, protective of their legacy systems, raised valid concerns about compatibility and data migration. Rather than dismissing these worries, Maya embraced them, working closely with IT staff to develop a phased integration plan that addressed each issue systematically. This collaborative approach won over key stakeholders within Sterling. Slowly but surely, resistance transformed into enthusiasm as department heads realized how Harmonia could streamline their operations. Sales teams saw opportunities for better customer targeting, while supply chain managers envisioned unprecedented efficiency gains. Even finance officers warmed to the software's ability to provide real-time profitability analysis. Throughout this process, Maya maintained regular communication with Sarah, now promoted to head of analytics thanks partly to her early support of Harmonia. Their friendship blossomed into a professional partnership, with Sarah providing invaluable insights into corporate dynamics while Maya continued refining her software. Together, they navigated the complex web of corporate politics, finding allies in unexpected places and converting skeptics through tangible results. The first small-scale implementation at Sterling proved transformative. Within weeks, departments reported significant improvements in efficiency and decision-making speed. Employees who had initially resisted change found themselves relying on Harmonia's intuitive interface, discovering new ways to leverage its capabilities in their daily work. Success stories began circulating throughout the company, creating a groundswell of support for full-scale adoption. However, this success brought new pressures. Maya found herself juggling multiple roles: developer, consultant, trainer, and sometimes even mediator between competing departments vying for priority access to Harmonia's resources. Sleep became even more elusive as she worked to ensure the software met everyone's evolving needs while maintaining its core integrity. Financial strain mounted as well. Despite Sterling's growing dependence on Harmonia, formal contracts remained unsigned. Cash flow issues forced Maya to make difficult choices about which features to prioritize and which to delay. Some days, she wondered if she'd ever see proper compensation for her work, despite clear evidence of its value to Sterling's operations. Yet through these challenges, Maya discovered reserves of strength she hadn't known she possessed. Her experiences had forged not just better software, but a stronger, more resilient version of herself. She learned to negotiate from a position of confidence, armed with data proving Harmonia's impact. She built a network of supporters within Sterling who understood the software's worth and advocated for fair terms. The relationship between Maya and Sterling evolved into something complex and multifaceted. While they relied heavily on Harmonia, their corporate bureaucracy moved frustratingly slowly when it came to formalizing agreements. Meanwhile, other companies, witnessing Sterling's success, began aggressively pursuing partnerships with Maya, forcing her to consider whether her future lay exclusively with one client or across multiple industries. As summer approached, bringing longer days and increasing pressure, Maya found herself at a crossroads. Sterling's unofficial adoption of Harmonia had grown so extensive that parts of their operation now depended entirely on her software. Yet without legal protection or guaranteed revenue streams, she risked everything on a handshake agreement. The situation demanded resolution, but the path forward remained unclear. Complicating matters further, Maya received an unexpected offer from a major tech conglomerate interested in acquiring Harmonia outright. The proposed sum would secure her financial future and eliminate the stress of running her own business. But it would also mean losing control over her creation, potentially seeing it integrated into systems that didn't share her vision for ethical, human-centered technology. These conflicting forces pushed Maya to re-examine her original motivations for developing Harmonia. Was it merely a tool to solve business problems, or did it represent something deeper, a philosophy about how technology should serve humanity? The answer to this question would shape not just her immediate decisions, but the entire future trajectory of her work. As negotiations with various parties intensified, Maya drew strength from the community that had grown around her software. From Marcus's wise counsel to Sarah's insider knowledge, from her parents' unwavering support to the online network of developers who had contributed ideas and encouragement, she realized she wasn't alone in this struggle. Each person had played a role in bringing Harmonia to its current position of influence, and each had a stake in its future. The situation at Sterling reached a critical point when their outdated systems finally reached complete failure. Entire departments ground to a halt, unable to function without Harmonia's support. Emergency meetings convened around the clock, with executives scrambling to find temporary solutions while negotiating permanent terms with Maya. For the first time, they truly understood the extent to which their company had come to depend on her software. This crisis catalyzed intense internal debates within Sterling about the nature of technological dependency and corporate responsibility. Some argued that becoming too reliant on external software posed existential risks, while others maintained that rejecting proven solutions for pride or tradition was equally dangerous. Through these discussions, Maya observed how her work had sparked broader conversations about modern business practices and technological evolution. Meanwhile, media attention began focusing on Sterling's predicament, with industry publications speculating about the mysterious software keeping the company afloat. Reporters reached out to Maya, seeking comments about her role in Sterling's operations. She carefully navigated these inquiries, balancing transparency with strategic discretion while protecting her intellectual property rights. The public spotlight brought both opportunities and challenges. Venture capitalists renewed their interest, offering funding options that could accelerate Harmonia's development. However, it also attracted competitors eager to replicate her success, forcing Maya to strengthen her security protocols and patent protections. Each day brought new decisions that would shape not just her immediate future, but the entire landscape of enterprise software. Through this whirlwind of activity, Maya maintained her focus on what mattered most, creating technology that genuinely improved people's lives. Whether helping small businesses compete with larger rivals or enabling corporate giants to operate more efficiently, Harmonia represented her belief in technology's power to connect rather than divide, to simplify rather than complicate. As autumn approached, painting the city in hues of gold and crimson, Maya found herself preparing for crucial meetings that would determine Harmonia's fate. Sterling's board had finally agreed to formal negotiations, while other potential partners waited in the wings. The tech conglomerate's acquisition offer remained on the table, tempting yet troubling. Each option carried significant implications, not just for her personally, but for the principles she'd fought so hard to uphold. With winter approaching, Maya knew she needed to make definitive choices about Harmonia's future. Yet as she reviewed the various proposals and possibilities, she realized something fundamental. Whatever decision she made must honor both the technical achievements of her software and the emotional journey that had brought it to this point. The story of Harmonia wasn't just about lines of code or business metrics. It was about resilience, vision, and the courage to believe in something greater than immediate acceptance or rejection. The coming weeks would demand every ounce of wisdom and strength Maya had accumulated through her journey. She would need to navigate complex negotiations, balance competing interests, and make decisions that would echo through the tech industry for years to come. But regardless of the outcome, one truth remained undeniable. They had said her software was worthless, and now their company couldn't run without it. As the final negotiations unfolded, Maya stood firm, her voice steady as she outlined her terms. She proposed a partnership model with Sterling, part investment, part licensing agreement, that would allow Harmonia to grow while ensuring its ethical use. Richard Sterling, now a changed man from their first meeting, nodded thoughtfully. "You've built something extraordinary," he admitted, his tone equal parts admiration and regret for underestimating her. The deal they struck was groundbreaking. Sterling would become Harmonia's flagship client but not its owner. Freed from the constraints of exclusivity, Maya could expand her software to other industries, empowering businesses worldwide. The tech conglomerate withdrew its acquisition offer gracefully, impressed by her resolve, and instead proposed a collaboration on future innovations. That winter, Maya returned to her parents' bookstore, now thriving thanks to Harmonia's tailored analytics module she'd gifted them. Her father hugged her tightly, tears in his eyes, whispering, "We always knew you'd change the world." Sarah called later that evening to share how Sterling had promoted her again, this time to Chief Innovation Officer, and credited Harmonia for transforming the company culture. In the end, Maya realized success wasn't just about proving her critics wrong, it was about creating something that made people's lives better. As snow fell softly outside her studio window, she opened her laptop to begin work on Harmonia's next evolution. The journey ahead would be long, but for the first time, Maya felt truly at peace, with herself, her creation, and the infinite possibilities of tomorrow.